Hello and welcome back to the RiftGuides WildRift video. Patch 5.2 is around the corner and today we'll talk about everything that's going to happen during this patch. New champions, Lissandra, Mordekaiser, a new Rift, a new T-Rex, and everything changed in Hexrift. So without any further ado, let's hop right into it. The fierce battle between Light and Ruin has finally come to an end, dispelling the dark miasma hanging over the Summoner's Rift. Ingenious Hextech creations have taken over the battlefield, bringing new possibilities to the Summoner's Rift as they await discovery. What is the most exciting part of this match for you? The new champion, the new Rift, or the new skin line? Let us know and welcome to patch 5.2. Reminder, content will be released throughout the patch. New champions, Lissandra the Ice Witch. As a reclusive leader of the Frost Guard, many believe Lissandra is a living saint whose followers bring healing and wisdom to the tribes of the Freljord. The truth is perhaps more sinister, as she uses her elemental magic to twist the power of true ice into something dark and terrible, entombing or impaling any of those who would reveal her deepest secrets. Indeed, the legacy of her past may be yet the beginning of the end for Runeterra. So Lissandra will be released on the 18th of July, which is the patch day. New features! Ranked Season 14. We'll be kicking off a Ranked Season 14 real soon, in addition to welcoming the new season exclusive skin, Glorious Crown Ziggs. Glorious Armada Ash from Season 11 will also be returning to the Ranked store. Don't forget to keep an eye or a lookout for announcements at the Ranked Games portal when Season 14 starts. WildPass. The new WildPass Food Spirits Amumu will be available after the patch update. Level up your WildPass to level 75 to unlock Ascendant Food Spirits Amumu and earn lots of rewards while making your way there. What's more, a new battle ensign. Food Spirits Amumu will also be added to the WildPass Emporium, along with the limited time return of Ascendant Psychic Detective Echo, Ascendant Dream Raider Fresh, Ascendant Dream Raider Narcissus, Psychic Detective Echo, Dream Raider Fresh, Dream Raider Narcissus, and Psychic Detective Senna. Oh, he looks so sad. Look at him. Item build recommendation. Recommend an item build to your teammates during a game to help them decide on a build that would better suit the team's current needs. If you're uncertain about your build, use Quick Chat to ask your teammates to recommend an item build. Okay, I find this is a funny feature because my teammates don't even know how to rotate to an objective, they don't even know how to play the lane, they don't even know at the highest level that Dragon is worthless compared to Herald. So this feature is really cool, but I don't really see it do anything. How about you rework the item recommendation by default in the game? Because for example, in the game, you suggest that Camille should go for armor pen boots. Camille should go for armor pen boots. So yeah, that is the game we're playing. QR codes to team up. Scan the lobby QR code or enter the lobby access code to directly join lobbies. Or how about an update that allows us to actually see if we found the game when we are outside of the app? Because as of right now, you only see if you find the game if you're inside of the app, but if you're outside of the app because you have long queue times, you can't see if you find the game and therefore might even miss the game. So how about that kind of feature? Because I think Honor of Kings has that feature compared to WildRift. That would be a massive step up. Look for party. We've added the iPlay option to the party finder. You can now select the lanes you wish to play as a filter for a list of lobbies that match your preferences. When openly recruiting for specific lobbies, the party leader can set tier and lane requirements for a game experience that tailors to the needs better. Add a search for party button in the lobby for quicker access to party finder. Party Finder will remember your previous filter settings, and each time you party or each time you enter the Party Finder, lobbies will be filtered based on your previous settings. A new weekly mission, Look for Party, has been added. Every week get surprise energy and other rewards when you play a game that was match-made through the Party Finder. I don't really know what to think about this because I'm not a person that uses this feature, so like I need you to tell me your previous experiences about this feature or a similar feature, and let me know in the comments below what you believe this is going to do, if it's going to be good, if it's going to be bad, because I truly have no experience with this one. The events. Free to play. All previous champions will be free to play from 19th of July to the August 1st. Who are you most excited to try out? Events. Advent of Winter. Winter is coming and with it it's a new event. Play games and complete missions to win prizes. The Advent of Winter begins on the 18th of July. Oh, look at this cute emote. Look at this cute emote. Perfect emote. I need it. Rift Adventure. Earn patch tokens by participating in events throughout patch 5.2 and redeem them for rewards. Rift Adventure begins on the 18th of July. The Rift Reborn Challenge. Explore the new Hexified Summoner's Rift and complete challenges to win goodies. The Rift Reborn Challenge begins also at the 18th of July. Champion changes. So before we tackle the champion changes, Keep in mind that in this patch there will not be as many champion changes because we are seeing so many map changes, item changes, and, well, new items. And therefore, they're not going for champion changes, so I believe in patch 5.2a we'll see a lot more champion changes. Darius, the most feared Nexus commander, has not been able to cleave through his enemies as easily as he had hoped. These changes will sharpen his axe and ready him for battle. First ability, Decimate. The base damage is getting increased, so let me quickly highlight this, from 14 to 18. So you see a total increase here by 4 damage, but that is already it. The Blade of the Axe damage is getting increased. We see here 40 to 50, and no scaling change. So yeah, it's a 10 buff, and the inner hit is a 5 damage buff. For the ultimate, the Noxian Guillotine, we have a damage buff of 100 to 125, and on the highest rank, 300 to 375. So per point investment, we get plus 25 damage. This will make Darius a lot stronger when it comes to executing enemies, and will probably give him the edge when it comes to killing people in an all-in scenario. Garen. We're adjusting some numbers around Garen to make sure he is in line with his peers. Base stats. He loses base health from 650 to 630. The health regeneration from Perseverance goes down from 2% to 1%, as well as he gains a new modifier per level from 0.2% to 0.3% of his missing health. This will make him a lot less tankier, especially like in the early game, because this champion is so obnoxious to deal with. So we also have a change to his first ability. The cooldown is getting increased in the early levels, but goes down later on with point investments by 0.5. Not really a big change. However, the biggest change we see here is that the duration of the movement speed and just the first ability's bonus is getting reduced from 3 seconds per 1 point investment to 2 seconds for 1 point investment. Later on, however, it will be or last longer. Last but not least, for the Garen changes, we have a change to Courage. Here we see the damage reduction in the first second being reduced from 80% to 70%. So, overall, I find these changes good. They're probably not enough to make Garen less NPC and annoying to deal with, but they are definitely good in the right direction, because this champion is annoying to face. He just stonewalls you and you can't really do anything, and therefore having this champion tuned down makes it a lot easier, because as of right now, you can be the biggest NPC, like the biggest, I don't know, AFK player, and pick up Garen and still go fine in the Baron lane. And from my perspective, that should not be possible on any champion. Kalista. We hope she's even smoother to play now. Optimize the mechanic where Rend goes into cooldown when Kalista takes on a target with it. Optimize the timer displayed at the indicator bar when Kalista is tethered to her ally. Optimize the display of the health threshold where Kalista execute enemy champions with Rend. This here used to be a massive problem because you go for a poke champ, like on Kalista, you auto attack an enemy minion, which is then low enough to be killed by your Rend ability, to then auto attack an enemy champion to deal some poke damage or slow them down. With this bugging sometimes, you sometimes didn't get the last hit, and therefore didn't get the cooldown reset and then lost an all-in. That was terrible experience. Maokai, another Maokai nerf, and we cheered. The base stats are going down from 660 health to 630 health, and the magic resistance per level from 2.5 to 2. The Bramble Smash damage goes down, starting with the second point investment, down to up to 15 damage is lost on flat damage, and you lose 1% in total of the maximum enemy HP. So this is a big damage nerf and a decent base damage nerf for Maokai. However, it will definitely not be enough to make this champion quote-unquote weak. He will be weaker, don't get me wrong, but he'll still be very good as a pickup champion. He'll still be one of the best support champions, and still a very good top laner you can just pick if you deal with, for example, Fiora, because you do not want to face Fiora at any cost with this champion. But yeah, this champion will not be killed, he'll be weaker, so maybe because people see the red arrow beneath Maokai, like, oh my god, he got nerfed, he will not be picked anymore as much, and therefore you can pick him every game and just win for free. But yeah, he will not be weak, he will be slightly weaker, so keep that one in mind when you pick up Maokai. Riven. Just because he has a broken blade doesn't mean she should be hitting like a wet paper towel. Now she will be able to pop off against whomever stands against her. So whoever thinks Riven has no damage, you're absolutely delusional, I'm sorry to say. Riven has enough damage. It's just either the meta not favoring her or you building wrong items. There's a crit build for the Riven which makes her like paper, but hit like an absolute truck. So it's all about you identifying the game state you're in, the people you're facing, and therefore itemizing properly. But that is a difficult thing in WildRift, and therefore we'd rather adjust champions to make them easier and more accessible. So here we have the first ability, Broken Wings, cooldown from 13 seconds to 12 seconds, and Blade of the Exile's bonus attack damage from 20% to 25%. So here, highlight this again. This here is her most spammed spell, which she maxes first, and she gets ability haste, and with the next patch probably more ability haste items. So this will be a big change because Broken Wings cooldown starts the moment you start casting the first instance. So if you do it well, you can chain it together like 6 times in a row. If you do it really, really well. Or at least should be able to. Aram changes. Gameplay, single player. Added a new single player mode where a player teams up with 4 AI allies to fight against 5 AI enemies. Players do not need to log into the game to access the mode. Huh? Players do not need to log into the game to access the mode and try out the gameplay. You can play it offline? I'm confused. Any explainers? After players log in, they can fight this mode under normal game modes. Single player mode can be played even when the player is not connected to the internet. Aha, okay. Reading just sometimes helps. Hextech Aram. In the Holding Abyss, when players level up at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, they can choose an augment to empower themselves. Arena changes. New arena season. The new synergy system. Each augment now belongs to a specific synergy type. Players can gain synergy powers and become stronger by collecting augments of the same synergy type. Each synergy type has 3 quality tiers: silver, gold and prismatic. The higher the tier, the stronger the effects. Added 15 augments such as the Summoned, Creature and Quest series. Item updates. Added Soul Weep, Perplexity, Hellfire Hatchet, the Golden Spatula and other arena exclusive items. New Hextech mechanic. Players can now make use of the Hexgates to poke out enemies and make a comeback when the team is at a disadvantage, allowing more room to devise battlefield strategies. Pacing changes. Reduce the health lost in each round and increase the margin of error for the teams. Champion endurance changes. Reverted the changes applied to resistance stats of tank items. Increased boot item stats. Power Flower changes. Consuming Power Flowers reduces the remaining cooldown of abilities by 40% and ultimate ability by 30%. Hextech Lab changes. The following augments that must be unlocked before they can be used during the last season have been added to the random pool: Pressure Cooker, Ethereal Weapon, Fury Aura and Clothesline. In the new season, the 4 augments that must be unlocked before they can be used will be replaced with Quest, Be Steel, Your Heart, Quest, Golden Spatula, Winner, AI Turret Ego and Dying Whispers. Okay, this will be a lot to read, so bear with me. Gameplay changes, battlefield changes. Hextech Innovations joined the fray in the Rift, and we are bringing fresh challenges to the battlefield in the form of a new Hextech Rift Heralds and a new Hexified Baron Nashor. After slaying Baron Nashor, and the T-Hex MECHA will drop at your team's fountain. Mount the T-Hex MECHA, rally your teammates and get ready to lead a concerted charge toward the enemy Nexus. Hexgates. Added a Hexgate at each of the 4 jungle areas of the Summoner's Rift. After the 430 mark, players can use the pair of Hexgates in their team's half of the map, red or blue, to teleport from one gate to another. After use, the Hexgate will go on the cooldown for 40 seconds. What is not written here is you can also use the enemy's Hexgate, but let me quickly draw this up for you. So you have these Hexgates, right? But you can only go between these, right? So you must walk into the enemy jungle to use theirs to teleport with their directions, and in your jungle to teleport with your directions. Hextech Toolkit. During the early game from 1:10 to the 8-minute mark, while both teams' altars have not been destroyed, a Hextech Toolkit will periodically spawn in each lane where the minions' waves have met. If the minion waves do not meet, then it will spawn at another location that is relatively fair to both teams. Hextech Toolkit can be claimed by either team. It lasts for 50 seconds after it spawns and it will disappear if it's not opened. Picking it up grants a random single-use Hextech Active tool. If not used within 45 seconds, the tool will automatically expire. So now we talk about the tools. Super Reactive Reagent. Consume the Super Reactive Reagent, you can now change to a random size and gain the corresponding buff. Shrink reduces the size by 30% and increases movement speed by 30% for 7 seconds. Enlarge increases the size by 35%, dealing 15% more damage for 7 seconds. Minion Disposal Unit instantly kill minion targets, gaining bonus gold and bonus XP. I wonder if you can abuse this to kill a cannon minion to get massive amounts of XP. If it is the case, then good luck, Riot Games. Hextech Tracker. Summon 2 Hextech Trackers to pursue nearby enemy champions. On contact, the champion is revealed and slowed by 30% for up to 5 seconds, based on the distance traveled during pursuit. Hextech Mood Module. Use the Hextech Mood Module to activate your teammates or motivate your teammates. All allied champions gain a small amount of gold and after 3 seconds restore 15% of their missing health. Siege Cannon. Set up a siege cannon that can fire 3 cannonballs at turrets. Each cannonball deals true damage equal to 7% of the turret's max health. So this means you want to use them later on, because then the tower is tankier due to how the resistances work in this game. The lower HP the turret has, like the more platings it has lost, the tankier it becomes. Exploding turrets. Exploding puppets. Summon an exploding puppet that lasts up to 60 seconds. When the puppet is killed by enemies or expires, it detonates in a small area, dealing magic damage to nearby enemies. De-acceleration ray. Place a laser transmitter that shoots out a ray after a short delay, dealing 80 magic damage and slowing an enemy champion hit by 30% for 2 seconds. Get ganked, brothers. 2 seconds slow, you're dead. Rift Creatures. A new random neutral epic monster, either the Hextech Guerilla turret or the Hextech Mimic, will spawn at the original location of the Rift Herald 5 minutes into the game. Hextech Guerilla turret. Attack. Single target range attacks that cannot be dodged. Apex Laser Cannon. The Hextech Guerilla turret condenses a beam and charges for a short period of time before firing a laser beam that deals physical damage to enemies in a line. Imprecise Strike Missiles. The Hextech Guerilla turret locks onto an enemy and fires 6 cannonballs around their location. The bombardment will deal physical damage. Takedown Reward. Destroy the Hextech Guerilla turret to be able to summon it anywhere on the map. Once summoned, the Hextech Guerilla turret will move forward the nearest minion wave and attack on seeing enemy minions. The Hextech Guerilla turret preferentially targets enemy turrets over enemy champions. The Hextech Guerilla turret has a maximum of 100 energy, which begins to deplete the moment it's summoned. Engaging turrets costs 6 energy per second, while attacking other units or being outside of combat consumes 1 energy per second. The Hextech Guerilla turret self-destructs once all energy is depleted or when its health falls. Hextech Mimic. Attack. Single target attacks that cannot be dodged. Mimic Leap. The Hextech Mimic leaps up and slams onto the ground, knocking back and dealing physical damage to enemies while becoming stunned itself. Mimic Charge. The Hextech Mimic dashes forward, charging into enemies, dealing physical damage repeating 3 times. Takedown Reward. Destroy the Hextech Mimic to gain 3 Micro Mimics that follow you around. The Hextech Mimic will spawn Hextech Mimic cores behind outer turrets. Cores despawn after 4 minutes. Standing near a Hextech Mimic core will briefly spawn 3 Micro Mimics that will follow you around. The next time you approach an enemy turret, the Micro Mimics will dash toward the turret and detonate themselves to deal damage to the turret. You will not be able to activate the Hextech Mimic cores if you've already Micro Mimics following around. Micro Mimics follow you around for 4 minutes and will disappear if they fail to launch an attack before the time is up. So what they're doing with this is they're changing Herald to an objective that benefits all your teammates rather than just you. So the Riot is again taking away individual agency of you carrying a game with a massive amount of gold, giving gold to your team. Which again, with how the game works in global server, is a massive nerf for solo carrying. Baron Nashor. Baron Nashor has undergone some hexification and gains new abilities. Slaying it also grants new rewards. Baron Nashor spawns for the first time 12 minutes into the game and respawns 3.5 minutes after each time he is slain. Slaying Baron Nashor grants the Hand of Baron buff that boosts the attack damage and ability power of all allied champions and reduces recall time. In case you didn't know, Baron right now grants armor and magic resist too. So there's a potential chance that they remove armor and magic resist from this Baron, which makes Baron a lot weaker, unless they change something about the attack damage and ability power. And Baron scaling, the longer the game goes on, the more powerful Baron becomes. Like, for example, a 35-minute Baron quite literally doubles your AD and AP, probably. Because there's no real information as to how the Baron scales, you can only assume. But the later you go, the more powerful Nashor becomes, even to a point where Elder is a joke compared to Nashor. Slaying Baron Nashor strengthens the cannon minions in your next minion wave. Slaying Baron Nashor drops a T-Hex or T-Hex Mecha at your Nexus. Some attack changes. The attack frontal shoots laser beams, the rear impales enemies behind them with a spike, attacks the nearest unit, reduces their movement speed and damage. This is the debuff that still exists. Maybe they fixed it this time that only one person can have it. Hextech Pulse emits a pulse that radiates outward, dealing damage and reducing armor and magic resist. Hextech Plasma. spits out 3 balls of plasma, slowing and dealing damage to enemies in an area where they land. Hextech Ray charges briefly before shooting forth 3 rays, dealing considerable damage to enemies hit. Tentacle Spikes directs a spike behind them, dealing damage and slowing enemy or nearby enemies in a cone. T-Hex MECHA. Slaying Baron Nashor drops a T-Hex MECHA at your fountain. Players can stand on the T-Hex MECHA to mount it and pilot it. Champions can pilot the T-Hex MECHA by standing on it for 2 seconds. The T-Hex MECHA has its own abilities and health stats. Once its health falls to 0 or when the Hand of Baron buff expires, the T-Hex MECHA ejects you from the cockpit and disappears. Your perspective is elevated when piloting the T-Hex MECHA and your movement also becomes slower. Hey, you gain, better vision, I guess, so you can map hack for free. Nice. While enemy debuffs and ally buffs do not affect the T-Hex MECHA, the damage it takes as a percentage of its health is reduced. The T-Hex MECHA deals less damage to neutral monsters. Enemies have vision on you while you pilot the T-Hex MECHA, so they always know where you come from. So if you're on the minimap, right, and you start walking from mid lane to top lane, they always know where you are. Isn't that insanely dumb? What is the point? Where's the strategy? Oh, look, he's walking from base to mid lane, let's go there. He's walking from base to bot lane, let's all defend him because we know he's going there. It will be only the only wave buffed by Baron. Because only the T-Hex MECHA afterwards buffs the wave, whereas the Baron only empowers the first cannon minion wave. How dumb is this? The T-Hex Hacker can empower nearby minions, granting them damage reduction and increasing their attack damage. That is the Baron buff. Attack. Fires a barrage of Gatling shots. Missile Blitz. Charges up and after a delay bombards in a circular area, dealing varying degrees of damage to champions, monsters and structures. Amplifying Field. Grants movement speed and shield buffs to nearby enemy teammates. Teammates, yeah. I mean, my teammates are my enemies and apparently my enemies are my teammates. It's just WildRift, you know? Oops. Iron Tail Sweep. Sweeps its tail forward in a cone, knocking back enemies. Laser Ray. Charges and fires a ray. Can move slowly while casting this ability and the cooldown applies. Emergency Evacuation. When the T-Hex MECHA's health falls below a certain percentage, the pilot can choose to dismount. Baron Pit and Terrain Changes. Hexification reaches the Baron Pit and its surrounding terrain. The region also changes as a random neutral epic monsters spawn. Location of monsters and their camps. The Hextech style has been applied to non-epic monsters and their camps for a brand new aesthetic. This sexification of non-epic monsters does not affect their combat mechanics or stats. Kinda sad, I really wished to see like a change to monsters as well, but here we are. Turrets. Damage reduction of anti-backdoor protection mechanics. Turrets, 66 damage reduction to 75. Let me highlight this really quick for you. Nexus, 66% to 80%. Damage amplification of turrets attacking champions to 5. Maximum damage amplification to 60% to 300%. Inhibited turret stats, health increased by 200. And armor and magic resist increased by 5 to 30 from 25. The Nexus stats, health increased by 500. And the Nexus shield increased by 500 as well. I don't know why we're doing this. It was almost impossible to end the game when Nexus Shield was still available. Like, you need to ace an enemy team and still be 5 alive to do so. I don't know why we make it more impossible to end the game before 60 minutes. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a complete waste of time. And I really don't agree with what they're doing here. I really don't understand it. Maybe you can tell me, because every game is an absolute fiesta. And then you hit the point of 16 minutes into the game where every game can be a coin flip. You have one person making a mistake, okay, you lose now. You have 2 people that randomly performed terrible during the entire game, just get carried for free. What is the point of an in-game mechanic that will allow you to almost always turn a game and have this quote-unquote comeback feeling when you shouldn't have this feeling? Like, if you're performing well the entirety of the game and you get dragged down by your teammates, why should you be punished even more as the game goes on? What is the idea of forcing individual agency out of the game and just making it a team game when you specifically know that matchmaking is predatory and good players, really good players, are paired with really bad players that can potentially ruin these games? Why are you removing the power of these people carrying and making it more team-based when it doesn't work, at least on the global server? Ixtali Scorpion. Added a minimap countdown and icon for the Ixtali Scorpion. Added a VFX for when the champion cannot summon it after being attacked. Fixed the issue where the Ixtali Scorpion and Hextech Guerilla turret disrupt the movement speed in the base for players. What? Really? That was a bug. That was a bug. I thought that was a feature to make it more balanced. Nah. Riot game. We had this for the entirety of the patch and it wasn't fixed. And now we have it fixed. And it was, in fact, a bug and not a feature. In case you're not aware, if you picked up the Scorpion in lane while recalling and then walked from base and the Scorpion starts attacking tower wave, you lost your home guard. And now you don't lose it, which makes the Scorpion even better. And yeah, like, this is cool because it helps people pay attention to it. It was a unique mechanic to actually keep track of it in your mind. I don't really mind this too much, but still. Yay, new items! Sundered Sky, base stats, 3000 gold, 40 AD, 15 ability haste and 30 health. Built out of a Caulfield's Warhammer and a Jorm's Fist plus 700 gold. Light Shield Strike. The first attack against an enemy champion critically strikes. 6-second cooldown per target, dealing 160% damage, restoring health equal to 130% base attack damage, plus 6% of missing health to you. That's a very interesting thing. So maybe you can get cooking with Ingenious Hunter. With Ingenious Hunter you gain up to 45 item haste. And that makes the cooldown probably go towards like 3.5-ish seconds? Maybe? So you can use this every 3.5 seconds. And then you can hit multiple targets, because it's per target, so that's very interesting. This item is a bruiser item, but yeah. Let's move on to the next item, Eclipse. Base stats, 2900 gold, 55 AD, 20 haste, and built out of 2 Caulfield's Warhammers and 50 gold. It has a unique passive called Ever Rising Moon. Hitting an enemy champion with 2 separate attacks or abilities within 1.8 seconds, I don't know why 1.8 seconds, deals bonus physical damage equal to 6% of the target's maximum health, 3% for ranged champions. And it grants you a shield that absorbs 160 plus 40% of your bonus AD, which for ranged champions is half to 80 plus 20% for 2 seconds on a 6-second cooldown. Again, if you want to run Ingenious Hunter, you can have like, I think up to like a 3.5 second cooldown. I will not do the math to do the correct number, but yeah. This item here can be very good or it can be very bad. It really depends on how the meta we think is evolving, because it will compete with other first items, for example Yuuma's Ghostblade or Divine Sunderer top lane. And does this item really compare to these items, depending on the matchup you're having? Because there are so many good items that really fit the pace of the game, so I don't necessarily know if this will make the difference. The shield looks very cool, like it looks insane as a first item, right? But will it be enough? Because the damage in WildRift works fundamentally different than in PC, because we have so much more damage, so I'm really curious to see what this item will do. It's very hard to just make a guess right now, but it could be completely broken or it could be completely bad and nothing in between, not like a balanced item. Psychic Projector. Cost 3100 gold, has 300 health, 60 ability power, 7% magic pen, 15 haste, built on a Kindle Gem, Haunting Guys and an Amplifying Tomb plus 700 gold. Has a conversion passive and a projection passive. Version. Gain ability power equal to 4% of your bonus health, up to 60 ability power can be gained this way. So the item grants up to 120 ability power, which is the highest next to Rod of Ages. Obviously, if you count Rabadon's self buff, Rabadon's would be higher. Projection. When taking damage, gain a non-stacking shield that absorbs damage equal to 30 plus 10% ability power plus 5% bonus health for 3 seconds. For ranged champions, the shield absorbs damage equal to 6% of this value and triggers every 3 seconds. So this item is an item that you want to build on Swain, want to build on Vladimir, because like look, he has haste, ability power, health. Vlad really loves these stats. Vlad also gains passively health and AP for health and AP. So he stacks itself. The question is on the PvE, I think there was a bug or a feature, I don't know, that you couldn't build this item with Rabadon, and if you can't build it with Rabadon, this item is terrible. However, this shielding is insane, but what is the melee champion that could build this item? It's Gwen that comes to mind, but Gwen has other items she really wants to get. So is there any other AP melee champion that benefits really much from this item? You can argue Diana, but I don't like. You can argue Diana because the item has a lot of stats she also wants to have, and another shield is pretty cool. But Diana doesn't get a lot of bonus health, so I don't know if this item will really be required and you do not want to just have other items. Ravenous Hydra. 500 gold, which is a boots active. Ravenous Crescent. Deal adaptive damage 100% of your AD plus 30% of your AP to nearby enemies to restore 15% of the damage dealt. Deals 50% damage to minions and monsters on a 6-second cooldown. Again, this should be working with Ingenious Hunter, but the issue with this item, it is a boots enchant and there are often better alternatives, and you have to wait after the first objective to build this item. So you can't rush this item to get more priority during waves or 4 waves, but there are some champions that can really use this item. For example, Camille and Fiora can use this to have way better wave clear, but again, Camille has Meteor, which is so broken on Camille, and Fiora has Protobelt, but I think this item might be the best fit for Fiora. But yeah, this is generally just a wave clear thing. I'm curious to see how many people can actually pick it up, because it's a boots enchant, and boots enchants are so broken, and having a damage boots enchant, I don't know. Removal of light and rune thematic items. So all of these items you see here are getting removed, they are going back to the old versions, but we see one thing. Terminus stays the same and Horizon Focus stays the same. So for mages, we have a new core itemization now settled, like absolutely set, which is going to be Ludens into Horizon Focus, because Horizon Focus will probably be the best item you have as your second slot, completely eclipsing every other item you can get as your second item. Changes to boots. Plated steel caps. Block physical damage reduced from 10% to 7 to 10% based scaling on level. Mercury Threads. Dissolve. Reduces magic damage taken by 12%, now scales from 7 to 12%. The question is, why did they not make it start with the same value here? So it starts at a lower value, because these boots have a difference. Like you see, plated steel caps are already worse than threads by 2%, but they start scaling the same way. But hey, at least we're seeing a nerf to boots, which have been the first item for top laners for eons because they're too goddamn broken. But again, I don't really know if this nerf will be enough. 3% damage nerf. Is it going to be enough to just remove this item as a rush item for Baron laners when they can start Ruby Crystal? I don't think so. Rune Changes. Inspiration, Hextech, Flash, Traption. Channels for 2 seconds and blinks a certain distance, up to 400 units. Channel duration. For 1 second, still counts as 1 second, but the range is reduced from 200 to 150 units, and the cooldown is increased from 20 seconds to 25 seconds. System optimizations, champion score changes, lowered the cap on champion score obtainable in ranked and increased the cap on champion score obtainable in legendary queue, added legendary queue factor and master versatility levels. Legendary ranked optimizations, players with outstanding performance in games will earn a small number of bonus points. RiftGuides interface changes, optimized the RiftGuides display and UX to improve readability and functionality and introduce battlefield mechanics to new players in a way that is easy to understand. Updated the RiftGuide with content about new battlefield mechanics, Baron lane map changes, Ixtali Scorpion, cannon minions, Dragon Soul mechanics, the Ice Dragon and Hextech related adjustments. Optimized access to the RiftGuide and display to the portal leading to it. Yeah, funny, because first off, in the Rift Guide, we still had the old stacking dragons, and not the new version for a year or something. So yeah, good that we finally updated. Thumbs up. Tutorial optimizations. We're introducing a new way of offering tutorials for new players. While keeping the rewards consistent, different tutorials will be offered to players based on a level of gaming experience. Improve the laning guide in the champion section of the tutorial. Adjust the champion selection for new players from the original 5 Ahri, Master Yi, Jinx, Seraphine and Garen to 3 new champions Annie, Zinzal and Misfortune. New player tutorials and Battle Academia tutorials will now be unlocked in phases. Some tutorial missions have been adjusted. Once new player tutorial missions are complete, Battle Academia will be unlocked. Some pop-up windows will be removed for players below level 20 to simplify the game system interface for them. Guides introduced the various game modes will be shown to players over time as they level up. Added a player guide for core gameplay systems, removed some outdated in-game tips for new players trying out their first games. Also adjusted and added some new in-game tips. New players will now trigger in-game tips based on what happens in their games. Optimized the champion tips interface so that players can learn about champions' abilities more quickly. Added a handy feature for players to quickly recall and purchase items. When players have sufficient gold to purchase an item, its icon will light up. Tap on the item icon to recall and return to the fountain to complete the purchase. This feature can be toggled on or off in settings. Flash combo optimizations, prioritizing flashing in the direction of movement for an enemy champion as the target. In-game communication optimizations, add an emote button to allow your teammates or you and your teammates to easily showcase your personalities. If you like the skin that your teammates is using, tap on them and let them know. There is no need to be stingy with compliment. Why? Purchase of Ruination story chapters. The story of Callista, Spear of the Argent Throne, may have ended, but if you haven't unlocked all the chapters, don't worry. You can still purchase... Damn, the sound in the background is crazy. I'll just repeat the same thing again. Like, it's so hot here, I have to open up my window, but for some godforsaken reason, there are trucks driving here when there's no trucks here. This is not even a main road. I don't know why they drive. It's even illegal for them to drive here. That's the funny part. It's if the police was here, they would be stopped and they have to pay a fine. They're still driving here. Germany, by the way. Okay. Purchase of Ruination story chapters. The story of Callista, Spear of the Iron Throne may have ended, but if you haven't unlocked all the chapters, don't worry. You can still purchase and read them in patch collections. Story chapters will be available for purchasing starting in August 24. Skins. Garden Party Garen, Garden Party Lissandra, Garden Party Malphite, Seraphine, Tristana, Garden Party Malphite Mythic Chroma Ultra Deluxe 50 billion doubloons into the pocket, Food Spirits Amumu, and Debonair Jace. All these skins release on the 18th of July. And the Glorious Crown Ziggs releases on the 19th of July. Okay, we have some extra bits. Fix the issue where Vice damage with Relentless Force fails to generate the armor reduction passive bonus that should have triggered when followed immediately with an attack. Fix the issue where Callista's bonus damage with Sentinel fails to trigger Elder Dragon's burn damage. Fix the issue where Callista's casting Fate's Fall when her Oathsworn is camouflaged causes the latter to exit camouflage after launching themselves in a direction. Fix the issue where Callista and her Oathsworn are unable to mark targets they hit if they triggered the Guardian Angel's revival effect prior to landing their hits. Fix the issue where Lilia loses her health regen effect after marking it. What? What? There was an issue like this? That's crazy. And now we're at the end of this video. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video and interact with the video with a comment to boost it for the algorithm. And we'll see each other for more content and the new patch and everything new with everything RiftGuides. Catch you soon, guys, and have a beautiful day.